Hello, thanks for tuning in. I'm Wendy, and I am the hostess of, or the host of, the Widow's Gift channel. I hope you enjoy the content on my channel. Um, and if you know of anyone else who could benefit, let them know. What I'm finding is a lot of elderly people, um, they don't know how to subscribe to a YouTube channel. And oftentimes they think there's a cost involved. So, no cost involved to subscribe to a YouTube channel. If you are someone who knows how to do that, and you know a widow who you think could benefit from the channel, help her get subscribed and notified. So you hit the little bell for the notification, and that just lets you know when I have a new video up. So again, I appreciate you for tuning in, and I hope you are finding encouragement. I want to read a little bit from John chapter 21 today. Fishing. After this, Jesus appeared again to the disciples, this time at the Tiberias Sea, which is the Sea of Galilee. This is how he did it. Simon Peter, Thomas, nicknamed Twin, Nathanael from Cana in Galilee, the brothers Zebedee, and two other disciples were together. Simon Peter announced, "I'm going fishing." The rest of them replied, "We're going with you." They went out and got in the boat. They caught nothing that night. When the sun came up, Jesus was standing on the beach, but they didn't recognize him. Jesus spoke to them, "Good morning. Did you catch anything for breakfast?" They answered, "No." He said, "Throw the net off the right side of the boat and see what happens." They did what he said. All of a sudden, there were so many fish in it, they weren't strong enough to pull it in. Then the disciple loved, oh my goodness, hold on. Then the disciple Jesus loved said to Peter, "It's the master." When Simon Peter realized that it was the master, he threw on some clothes, for he was stripped for work, and dove into the sea. The other disciples came in by boat, for they weren't far from the land, 100 yards or so, pulling along the net full of fish. When they got out of the boat, they saw a fire laid with fish and bread cooking on it. Jesus said, "Bring some of the fish you just caught." Simon Peter joined them and pulled the net to shore, 153 big fish. And even with all those fish, the net didn't rip. Jesus said, "Breakfast is ready." Not one of the disciples dared ask, "Who are you?" They knew it was the master. Jesus then took the bread and gave it to them. He did the same with the fish. This was now the third time Jesus had shown himself alive to the disciples since being raised from the dead. "Do you love me?" After breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" "Yes, Master, for you know I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my lambs." He then asked a second time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Jesus said, "Shepherd my sheep." And then he said it a third time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was upset that he had asked the third time, "Do you love me?" So he answered, "Master, you know everything there is to know. You've got to know I love you." Jesus said, "Feed my sheep. I'm telling you the very truth now. When you were young, you dressed yourself and went wherever you wished. When you get old, you'll have to stretch out your hands while someone else dresses you and takes you where you don't want to go." He said this to hint at the kind of death by which Peter would glorify God. And then he commanded, "Follow me." Turning his head, Peter noticed the disciple Jesus loved following right behind. Remember, John is his beloved. When Peter noticed him, He asked Jesus, Master, what's going to happen to him? Jesus said, if I want him to live until I come again, what's that to you? Follow me. You follow me. This is how the rumor got out among the brothers that the disciple wouldn't die. But that is not what Jesus said. He simply said, if I want him to live until I come again, what's that to you? This is the same disciple who was eyewitness to all these things and wrote them down. And we all know that his eyewitness account is reliable and accurate. There are so many other things Jesus did. If they were all written down, each of them one by one, I can't imagine a world big enough to hold such a library of books. Now, that rendition that I read from today is from this Message Bible. And I like this rendition when you're reading something for meaning. I thought it was interesting because those fishermen had been tired. They've been trying to catch fish all night and they caught nothing. And then Jesus pops up and tells them to do it this way. Now, they could have been irritated. They could have been like, Master, we've been fishing all night. We're tried and true fishermen. We know what we're doing. But Jesus said to do it a different way. So they had to listen. They had to obey, and then they reaped the reward. So, is there an area of your life that the Lord is speaking to you about? And sometimes obedience, we always need to surrender, right? We live a life of forgiveness and surrender. So if you think about that, that's what I like to think about with the cross. Forgiveness is vertical. You're required to forgive people. That's what Scripture says. If we want to be forgiven, then we need to forgive. That's really not between you and another person per se. And then surrender is like the Lord had his arms out and surrendered his life. So we surrender our will, our life, right? I think in this widowhood journey, you're going to walk through some of that. You're going to walk through, or maybe you already have, or maybe you are currently. Eventually we get to the point where we have to surrender that was the Lord's will. And that's a hard thing to wrestle with sometimes. And at the same time, though, Jesus is still calling us and saying, do you love me? Well, yes, I do love you, Lord. And he might tell you, well, then I want you to do something this way. I know you've always done it this way before, but I want you to do it this way this time. And so when we surrender our life, what we thought it was going to look like. I mean, I didn't dream that I'd be in my 50s and this is what my life would look like. Does it mean I have a great life? I do have a great life. I love my family. I love my friends. There's so much good. I love the people that the Lord puts in my life to minister to. There's so much good. And at the same time, I so wish Bob was here. Like I never dreamed of being on this life, in this life without him. So once I could surrender that, then it was an easier path for me, so to speak. So anyway, are you a fisher of men? Are you still out there in the world? Are you still listening to the Father? Are you listening to the Lord? Is he telling you to do something? I have to say, moving to South Carolina was a super hard obedience. Now, he made the way easy for me. Easier, I guess, not easy. Easier. But that was a big act of obedience for me. and one I would have never imagined. So, but I say to God be the glory for that. And yeah, what is it for you? Share in the comments, um, email. The comments are easy if you want to participate. What is the Lord leading you in right now? Are you in a place of forgiveness? Are you in a place of surrender? Um, what's going on in your widow walk? Comment back. That's my gift for you today.